What's going on? I'm Sam, and today I'm getting this trailer ready for delivery. So I finished everything on it, but it's still kind of cold here in Ohio, so I need to make sure that the water tanks and water pipes, nothing like that freezes, because there is going to be water sitting in it. So to do that, I'm adding RV antifreeze, which is a fairly straightforward process, but I wanted to talk about a couple tips and tricks that I use that just ensures your success when you're adding antifreeze to your boat or RV or something like that. Not really so much the boat, but an RV or food truck, this really comes into play with. Actually, RVs are made so that everything drains, so even RVs aren't as applicable as food trucks because the tanks they use in those, usually you can't drain all the water out, and that's where these tips really come into play. Look at who's sneaking out here. Hey, Griffin. So the first tip is don't add all your antifreeze to the tank at once, because let's say your tank will hold a residual 1 gallon. If you mix 1 gallon of antifreeze in there, now you have a 50-50 mix, which is pretty good. But if you wanted to add, let's say 9 more gallons, which is very excessive, now you have 10% water and 90% antifreeze. But if you were to take that 50% mix and drain everything you could by turning on the pump and opening the faucet, well, now you got down to 1 gallon of 50-50 mix. If you add in another gallon of coolant, you're diluting that more. And by the time, let's say you get to 5 gallons of coolant cycled through by adding a bottle, draining it down to as low as you can get the tank, adding another bottle and repeating that, you would get down to, let me do some math, hold on. Okay, I did some math on my calculator real quick, and if you added 5 bottles one at a time to 1 gallon while draining the gallon back to 1 after adding it, you would be at 97% coolant. And I think at the 4th bottle, you're already at like 90%, which is the same as adding 9 bottles directly to 1 gallon. So I hope that makes sense. The tip is, instead of adding all your coolant to the tank at once, add a bottle, open the faucets, turn on the pump, drain everything out till the pump pretty much runs dry, turn it off, add another bottle, and repeat until you use all the gallons of coolant you have. And this really only comes into play when you have a water tank that doesn't have a drain at the very bottom. Because most RVs, I think, do, and they can drain out almost every single drop. But a lot of these tanks made for food trucks don't have that, and they keep a small layer of water at the bottom. And even some hot water tanks don't have the bypass and the drain valve, so it's important for those too, because otherwise you'll have a full tank of water and that hot water heater will freeze and burst. So we went over that, how to add your gallons of coolant to something that you need to dilute so that you can use less gallons and get a stronger dilution. But then the question is, when do you know you've diluted enough? And there's this really cheap tool that I use for car coolant that you can use for this type of coolant. It won't give you the measurement of the freezing, but it will give you the measurement more or less of the coolant dilution. Anyway, this tool is called a refractometer, and these are amazing. So on their website, this Splash antifreeze that I'm using this year says that a refractometer will not give you the correct freezing temperature, but that doesn't matter because we just need a freezing temperature. And when you measure water, this will show up as 0, and you look through here and you can see, yep, 0. And then when you add 1 drop of the concentrated straight from the bottle antifreeze, it shows up as about 25 degrees, which, I mean, it actually, if you read the bottle, it will freeze at -50. But that's the burst, not the freeze. There's some weird slushy stuff, and it's a blend of different coolants. So the 25 only matters as a reference point. So when I took the first sample from the sink, it was showing up about 2 degrees, and as I added each bottle, I could see it inching up. And now that I'm adding the last bottle, I can take a measurement from the refractometer and see if I think it's enough antifreeze to keep this thing from freezing. So the whole point of this guy on this application is to just keep checking the coolant every time you add a gallon to get to the point that it looks like it's close enough for your needs. I'm right about here which I know won't freeze, and it's, you know, maybe 80% of the original undiluted formula. Once I got to that level, I opened up all the taps to make sure that it flowed through all the lines. And when you're all done, you can check the water coming from the drain to make sure that your drain tank has enough antifreeze in it. If not, just repeat the steps until you're happy with the measurement from the drain tank. And again, you really don't need this refractometer. You could just keep adding gallons one at a time until you add enough that you're pretty sure everything's diluted enough based on the color and smell. Otherwise, this is the same process as normally adding antifreeze. It's just really helps when you can't fully drain a tank. And when it comes time for spring and filling this thing back up with fresh water, you might find it faster just to add a third tank, a quarter tank, maybe even a little less of water, turning the pump on, opening the faucets, letting that run through, then adding more water and repeating that. You don't even have to turn the pump off. If you're fast, before it goes empty, turn the hose on again, turn it off, and just keep doing that. And you should find the water becomes clear faster than filling the tank up all the way, running it empty, and cycling through that a few times. So I hope that helped someone and it wasn't too confusing. I just figured I'd share because I really like this method. Even if you can't get a refractometer, if you add 1 gallon at a time for systems like this, it will help get to a higher dilution with less bottles. And if you can get one of these, they're like $20-something on Amazon. I use them for my cars when I get them, usually to make sure that someone didn't just add only water and there's some coolant in there, because it's really helpful to know if your car antifreeze is going to freeze and bust your radiator or worse. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, you've been so patient. You've just been waiting for me to come back in, Bubby? What a good boy. Oh, what a good boy.